What is up, NFC North fans? It is time for another NFC North Roundtable, which means two things. We're going to talk about the NFC North games from this last week, and my Wi-Fi is probably going to cut out. I almost guarantee it. Fellas, good to see you. Dose, Nick, One Bar, looking a little different there. That's not Bass. Clayton, how you doing, my man?
Hey man, I'm proud to join you guys tonight. It's going to be a blast. I'm just glad that Baz actually let me tune in after we actually won a game last time. If you guys remember, he led me to the slaughter, and we were right after a loss. Hey, sit in for me, man. Got it, Baz. Appreciate it. So, yeah, we're doing good. Happy to be here.
Well, we thought that there was a chance that you guys might lose to the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. And Bass last week's like, hey, guys, I'm not going to be here next week. I'm like, oh, very convenient. You planned a wedding around this. Congratulations. So luckily for you, they did beat the Steelers. We'll talk all about it. But first, we got to talk about Thursday night football where the Vikings lose badly to the Chargers, 37-10. One Bar, I know you're not too happy about this one, man. You were steaming backstage. I cannot wait to get your take on this game. You guys threw Carson Wentz out there. Speaking of throwing somebody out to the slaughter, poor Carson Wentz, man. Sacrificed his whole season to play in this game, essentially. J.J. McCarthy apparently wasn't healthy enough to play, but he could jump men rolling at his ankles on the sideline. Looked pretty good doing it. But either way, here you go. You guys lose 37-10. You chug forward. Talk about this game for me, One Bar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do we chug forward? Because that was about as ugly as you can get. There's been some Vikings games over the years that have just been like, all right, that was an ass kick, and that was tough to watch. This was one of the worst games I have seen as a Vikings fan in many, many years. Like, not just the score, not just the fact that they lost to the Chargers on Thursday night. It was everything. It was everything from top to bottom. Coaching, play. Nobody seemed like they even wanted to be out there. It was an all-out ass kicking, and it was against a Charger team that had lost 3 of the last 4, and a team that the Vikings should have been actually had a chance to win that game. And not only did they not win the game, they got their asses handed to them. And there's a difference between being a Debbie Downer and being realistic. And at this point, Vikings fans, after that, I mean, the week before the Eagles game, they lost. They played them tough. It was close. But after a game like this, seeing the play calls, seeing the way some of these players are playing, I think the Vikings, I think we're going to be in for a tough go at it. I think it's going to be a rough year. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and most likely more downs than ups. And you mentioned the Carson Wentz thing. That's tough. 2.5 games, they let him go out there with a dislocated shoulder, a torn labrum, and a fractured socket. It's like, what the hell are you doing? They preach Kevin O'Connell's big thing: culture, team first, players, everybody love. Let's get in a hug. Let's hug each other. Let's hug this thing out. And then he does that. Very confusing times in Viking land. Wentz going out as from a playing standpoint, he was going to hit the bench anyways. J.J. McCarthy was coming out regardless, but that was pretty shitty of the Vikings for him to go out like that and for him to play, because not only was the game over, they had a perfectly capable backup quarterback that could have came in and pretty much done the same thing that Carson Wentz did. So the big things is the same old thing. Can't stop the run. On offense, they're refusing to run the ball when you're going against a Charger team that you should be able to run on. And like I said, a lot of questions. I really look forward to talking about the freaking Vikings-Lions game coming up this week. That'll be a blast. But I got to get realistic. It's probably going to get ugly before it gets better. And Vikings fans need to buckle up. They need to buckle up. I'm going to be very real about the Vikings moving forward. I'll tell you that.
Well, a couple questions. Is there any conspiracy theorists? All right, so tinfoil hat, ride with me on this one. Is there a reason why they didn't play Max Brosmer? Because maybe he might look as good as McCarthy or better. Do you think there's anything to that?
I mean, that's a pretty tough buy. I can't buy into that one. It is very odd. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched any of that game. I mean, Carson Wentz is out there basically walking off the field like this. The dude couldn't throw after every throw. You could tell he was just in extreme pain. So you can look at it, either you can go that route, which I'm not buying, or it can just be look, this dude was an undrafted free agent that hasn't played. and there's no reason to put him out there. Neither of them make sense to me because he should have been out there. There's no reason he should not have been out there. It's a huge question. Kevin O'Connell got grilled on it this week by the media, and he's basically just saying, hey, Carson Wentz, he was saying he's good to go. He wanted to play, blah, 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 but it's a bunch of BS. Something's happening behind the scenes. I don't think it's the McCarthy thing, though.
Okay, well, let's go glass half full here because I know that the beginning of the season, there was a lot of expectations. Very, very good Vikings team. I'm sure a lot of people are like, why do we ever get rid of Sam Darnold? Some frustration there. But on the flip side, you do have a young quarterback in J.J. McCarthy that you're looking to develop. It started out pretty rocky for him. He's basically had like a good half this year. But now that the team is not performing to the level of expectation, and they did that essentially without him as well, is it possible that this is the best thing for the future of the Vikings because J.J. McCarthy gets to develop without the pressure of having to go out and win these games?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a solid take. It's going to be interesting because this team is playing so bad and the defense is playing so bad and they're refusing to run the ball. Like, they're going to have to change things up. They can't put out McCarthy right now and play the same football they've been playing, or it's going to be a disaster. You can't put J.J. McCarthy out there and run the ball 9 times. Like, you're setting him up to just absolutely fail. You can't have him throw the ball 45 times and expect him to get better. So everything's going to have to change. The play calling is going to have to change. But for me, my standpoint is, like, yes, the rest of this season is developing J.J. McCarthy, making sure that you have something there in the limited amount of time that we have because he has been out. So, yeah, while we love to be winning some games and love to be talking about, oh, man, maybe they should keep Carson Wentz out there. He just went 5-0 as a starter. Didn't happen, and they got to readjust. And it's going to be up to Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell needs to make sure he does not mess this up over the next week or over the rest of the season. We can't have talks of losing the locker room and people on the sidelines looking like they not want to be there. That's going to be the toughest part.
All right. Well, I'm curious to see how the rest of the season plays out. Development of J.J. McCarthy, it sounds like that is the main priority. All right, Nick, let's talk about your Bears. Speaking of losing, they lose to a Ravens team that didn't have Lamar Jackson. First of all, I don't know why the Ravens hadn't been playing Tyler Huntley or hadn't promoted Tyler Huntley. The fact that they rolled multiple weeks with what they were rolling with, beside the point. But either way, the Ravens get it done 30-16. The game was much closer, at least early on. Ravens ended up pulling away from this one. There's some talks now about Caleb Williams, and he's starting to struggle. And you know how it goes. One loss and everything is, you got to throw everything out. So, Nick, talk to me about this game, man. What did you see from the Bears in a loss to the Ravens?
No denial. The Bears played scared. They walked into that game knowing that they didn't have Kyler Gordon. They didn't have Tyreek Stevenson. They didn't have Cole Kmet. They didn't have a backup in Braxton Jones. Like, they walked in so down on themselves. There was no energy. Even when they had 125 yards in the first quarter and their first 2 drives, they came away with field goals. They were still like, yeah, no, we're down bad. And I'm like, everyone relax. Like, you're on a 4-game winning streak. You as a team can still win. The Bears are better than last year. They have a better coaching staff. But on the flip side of things, I do want to say the Ravens were almost 100% healthy. And Huntley is a former Pro Bowler. Like, not even 3 years ago, he was a Pro Bowler quarterback. So he's a good player. And when everyone was like, oh, he's going to play, I was like, this is not going to be an easy task. Like, he is a good quarterback. He's proven it before. So I think what happened was Bears walked in scared. They walked in, no energy. Caleb's on the sideline, not showing much energy the entire game, not even hyping up his guys. The defense doing the same thing. No one was there really excited to be on the field, to be honest with you. And that's what happens overall when you start going through these motions. It's like, okay, football is all about energy and physicality. And if you don't have that, you're going to lose the ball game. So that's what happened with the Bears. They got down on themselves after they gave up the first touchdown to Derrick Henry, and then it just went all downhill from there. Going to your question about Caleb Williams, it's driving me absolutely insane that people are calling him a bust. They need a new quarterback, throw out Tyson Bagent. I'm like, holy crap, everyone hang on for a second. We're seeing 100 passing yards. Almost had 300 passing yards versus the Ravens. They have a solid defense, really good secondary, and they were 100% healthy minus Lamar Jackson. So this was a good team, constantly in the playoffs. And the Bears don't need a new quarterback. Caleb is also on his fourth play caller in a year and a half. He had 3 last year in his rookie season. He's learning a whole new playbook, and the Ravens were playing like it was do or die for them. They only had 1 win. They lost that game. Practically, they're out of playoff contention for the rest of the year. So, yes, I don't think that Caleb Williams is a bust. I think people are overreacting about the whole thing. Could he have played better? No denial about that. He is a young quarterback, though, learning a complex playbook. He's shown a lot of improvement from confidence in the pocket, smarter decisions, minus that interception. I really disagreed with that throw because Kyle Monangai was open wide out in the flat. But the Bears also just can't get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, we had 3 pressures all game against Huntley, which Huntley's great with his legs, but I felt like we were always in the backfield or getting close to it, and then he would take off, and it was just like, well, here we go again. So Bears defense needs to find a way to get pressure. Do I like that they just brought in a former top defensive back? Yes, I do like that. We definitely need it. That being said, these injuries are just getting out of control for the Bears. I feel like every week the injury report grows, and it's not looking good this upcoming week. And we'll talk about this when we do our week preview. But literally the Bears wide receiver 1 right now is Ja'Day Walker, an undrafted rookie free agent, if everyone on the injury report doesn't play. So everyone needs to calm down. We're 4-3. We're 4-1 in our last 5. We got the Bengals this weekend. We're going to be just fine. So it is a tough loss. I was disappointed with the energy levels, but hopefully it all comes back this week.
Well, you guys did bring in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's on his 3rd team already this year, which is absolutely crazy. But you guys do need help in the secondary. There's no doubt about it. So what do you think about bringing him in?
I did see in the comments some people were requesting the Trump voice, so I'm going to do it in this one. I think he's a hard hitter. I think he's a good ball hawk. He's very, very good at getting after the ball. That being said, he does have a little bit of a temper. We got to control that temper. If we don't control that temper, the locker room's going to get very mad at him. He's going to get fired again. He's going to be on his 4th team in a couple of weeks if he does that. That's all I got for Trump. But anyway, he did play in Dennis Allen's scheme for 3 seasons. He had 12 interceptions with the Eagles in 2 stints. He does know Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson actually said he was really happy to bring him in. They did work together 1 year in Detroit. So Dose, you know all about that. Unfortunately, he didn't play most of that season, but I'm happy with the signing. We needed to do something. I was hoping the Bears would actually make a trade because I was like, yeah, this guy is on, let's just say his 3rd team this year. But happy they got it done. They got us an instant starter that knows this defensive scheme, and he has nickel experience. So he said he's going to be playing this Sunday against the Bengals. It sounds like Ben Johnson's pretty confident in that too. So happy about the signing. Hopefully it gives a nice boost. And also looks like Tyreek Stevenson is on the up and might be back this weekend as well.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was a good player just last year. I have a hard time believing that he's just washed. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
I
some
think
bad
you're
fits. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he can help you all out. But it's low risk, high reward. So that's the way that I see it. It is interesting though that he is on his 3rd team, and 2 other good franchises decided to move on from him. But we'll see. Maybe he works out for the Bears. All right, Clayton, you're the big winner this week, filling in for Bass. Packers beat the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers 35-25. Doesn't get much better than that because Love was the NFC Offensive Player of the Week as well. Fantastic game from him. Great win by your Green Bay Packers beating the Steelers. Talk to me about what you saw from this game on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, man, this one was a blast. I was really, really looking forward to watching it. Big Aaron Rodgers fan throughout his entire career. I know some people were salty as he left, but seeing the way that he kind of helped coach along Jordan Love up to this point and hearing the media reports, or at least the guys talking in press conferences leading up to the game, you could tell there was that mutual respect. But it was a blast, man. From start to finish, it was just one of those games that was fun to watch, even when the Packers were trailing in the first half. I honestly expected Jordan Love to come out a little nervous, man. I expected him to be tighter than a tick on a coon's ass. Instead, it was something totally the opposite. The guy comes out and he's just on fire. He's got complete command of the offense. I know one specific play with Christian Watson returning, him checking to a post route. You could see him change the play at the line of scrimmage, checks to a post. Unfortunately, Matthew Golden didn't know what he was doing on that particular play. He runs the wrong route, almost runs a defender right into Christian. But you've seen Jordan just with complete command over the offense. And listen, Matt LaFleur scheming, using cheat motion to leverage, and using the RPO game in the second half to really, really loosen up that Steelers defense that essentially they were loading the box. They were just like everybody else has against Josh Jacobs this year. They load the box. They loaded the box with what Matt LaFleur did. He started to pull Josh Jacobs in the second half, putting Emmanuel Wilson in there. As soon as 23 was in the backfield, you've seen the Steelers loosen up that box a little bit, and all of a sudden the running game came alive. And then we're going back to the RPO game when they started to tighten the box up again. It was just a blast to watch. On defense, they're continuing to show what we call the cheetah package. It's 3 edge rushers and 1 defensive tackle. And more specifically, they're breaking out what we call a Joker 1-3-3-5 cheetah, where you've got Micah Parsons lining up as the Joker over top of the nose. So essentially he's right behind the nose tackle. And what that does is it forces the offensive line to kind of set the protection inside out. And that's opening things up on the outside. And then, of course, Micah gets his sack from the game, beating a triple team, a chip from a tight end, beats the left tackle to the guard, beats the guard, sacks Aaron Rodgers. That was his 1 sack. Rashawn Gary with 2 on the day. It was a lot of fun to watch. Like you said, Jordan Love on fire, 29 of 37, 360 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He wasn't sacked all night, even with TJ Watt and Cam Hayward on the other side of the ball. But Tucker Kraft, I'm telling you guys, nobody's talked about Tucker Kraft. Packer fans talk about him, and the rest of the NFC North fans, they just laugh about it on Twitter. They're as if Tucker Kraft is this bum of a player. All the advanced metrics over the last year and a half have suggested all he needs is touches. All he needs is targets, and Tucker Kraft is going to be as good. Like if he had the same amount of targets as Brock Bowers last year, Tucker Kraft would have blown his yardage and everything else out of the water. So Tucker Kraft is going to be a big part of this offense moving forward. Christian Watson's going to continue to get healthier and healthier. Of course, he was targeted 4 times, caught all 4 targets, 85 yards. He was on fire. Romeo Doubs is as consistent as any wide receiver in the league, really. He's not that big play guy, take the top off the defense, but he's just going to catch anything that's thrown his way. And in terms of the defense, I think they're going to be fine too. Overall, what you've got is an offense that's 8th in scoring and points per play. You're 5th in yards per play. Your running game has struggled 24th in yards per carry, but that's because everybody's loading the box on Josh Jacobs, which is opening things up for the passing game now. You're 3rd in passing in terms of passing yards per pass attempt. On defense, you're 3rd in scoring, 2nd in yards, 4th in rushing, and 1st in passing defense. I was cracking up at fans on Twitter last week saying that how bad these cornerbacks are for Green Bay. And I'm like, you guys do know we're 1st in the league in passing defense right now in terms of passing yards per play. So I'm excited, man. It was a big win. I love the class that Rodgers shown. I love the respect that Jordan Love paid to him. Same thing with Matt LaFleur. Can't wait to have him back in Green Bay to have that number retired up there on the facade at Lambeau Field. But yeah, a lot of fun watching that game, man.
Well, Rashawn Gary might be the biggest beneficiary to Parsons being there. He is having an absolute hell of a season. I want to talk about the style points in this game. This is something we talked about with Bass just a week ago that, listen, if this was college football, old college football, BCS style, maybe the style points aren't there. They're not winning by a whole bunch. This game was utter dominance, really, from nearly beginning to end. It was never in question. Defense played very well when it needed to. Offense was humming right away. So do you believe that this is the game going against their old foe and Aaron Rodgers winning this big game on Sunday Night Football, showcasing things, now the number 1 team in the NFC? Is this the game that propels them so that they can be the best them for the rest of the season, in your opinion?
I think the biggest thing that comes out of this game is you could tell his teammates, Jordan Love's teammates, believed in him, but it's gone to a different level now. Everyone in the locker room were just talking about how, the saying, he is him, he is him. I think there's as much belief in Jordan Love as any quarterback in the league in terms of teammates buying in. That's the big thing that I noticed coming out of this game. And honestly, it reminds you of when the team really bought into Brett Favre, when Reggie White said, I want to play with Brett Favre, right? And then, of course, you got Aaron. It's the same thing. Once it clicked for Aaron in 2010 and he started to play like Aaron Rodgers as opposed to young Aaron Rodgers, everything changed. So for me, I could care less about the style points. This is the other thing people are forgetting about this Packers team. They're going to lose games this year they should win, but they're also going to win games they should lose. And to me, that's a byproduct of being the youngest team in the National Football League. That's the reality of the situation. The Packers are the youngest team in the NFL last time I checked. And you got them now creating momentum. You've got the key corner pieces in place and Jordan Love, quarterback, right? You're getting good tackle plays. Zach Tom just got locked up. Matt LaFleur, Everybody just says all shucks Matt LaFleur and talk about style points. Guy, last I checked, I think he's 12th all time in the history of the league in winning percentage. He just passed 3 more Hall of Fame coaches, and he's got 3 more on the list, one of which, if I remember correctly, Papa Bear Hallis. Either he's coming up or he just passed him up in terms of winning percentage. So it's time for people to put respect on Matt LaFleur's name. And anybody who watches the All-22 and focus on the end zone cam and look at how he's scheming in those nasty splits, there's no reason for anybody to be saying that Matt LaFleur isn't worth every dime they're paying him. So, yeah, in terms of the style points, I could care less. Like you said, this ain't the BCS. It's the National Football League, which stands for not for long. If you don't come out every single week, they play the Carolina Panthers this week. They're 13-point favorites. I would not be surprised at all if this comes down to a one-possession game.
Yeah, that's the way the NFL works. I mean, you guys saw it just a few weeks ago against the Cleveland Browns, so that's the one loss that you guys have. I got to say, Clayton, you might have the coolest background in sports YouTube. That is so slick with the plays drawn up, the old school pictures, the jerseys hung. It's slick looking, man. Looks great.
Appreciate it. Like everything in my life, anything that's that I get complimented on, it's because my wife, it was her idea. So that was all her. Yeah.
That's a smart man.
Her credit. Yeah.
She's watching right now, so that's what we
yeah. Perfect. Good job. Well, Dose, listen, you guys didn't have a game this week, but you made a hell of a splash move, bringing in Hutchinson, keeping him long-term, paying him big-time money. Talk to me about this deal, how it got done, the money that's involved in this. Are you a happy Lions fan hearing about this?
Man, I'm a happy Lions fan, man. Now I mean, we knew it was coming. It was just when. And I didn't really, you kind of forget about these things once the regular season starts rolling. But it makes a ton of sense to do it during the bye week, get a little extra time. It's kind of cool, too, that they had an opportunity to see him at the beginning of the season. I mean, I still don't know where there would have been a scenario where it's like, hey, he's not going to get paid. But to get a few weeks in there rather than just doing it as soon as he became eligible, coming off the injury that was so significant last year, and he's come out and he's looked really good. I actually still think some of the true power in the lower body is going to be a work in progress for him. But production-wise, he's been as good as you would hope. I mean, he is leading the NFL in pressures right now, though some of that's opportunity. He had 12 against Tampa Bay, so that plays into it. But he looks fantastic. I mean, he's moving as well as he usually does, getting off the line really well. I think he's been so slippery this season. So for us, I think the big thing there is it locks him in through 2030, under contract through 2030. And for him still having this year and next year under contract with that 5th-year option, they've been creative with that in the past with Penei Sewell. We'll see if they do that again. But it's more about the length of this, I think, than anything. We knew he was going to get paid $45 million a year, just below Micah as of now. But total guarantees are saying $141 million, which is the most. We'll see how it all shakes out. But this is just great because he was part of the beginning of what it is now. Like he was kind of the cornerstone to what it was going to turn into defensively. So it's really cool.
Well, we don't know the details of the contract yet, but it does sound like they pushed roughly $25 million forward into this year and next, which is, to your point, how they use that 5th-year option as a beneficiary to move some of that money around, which means once they get past the 5th-year option, it's not going to be an astronomical number. It's a really, really smart thing that they're doing. It's how they're locking up all their big-time players. So he absolutely deserves it. He's come out with his hair on fire this year, showing he's still an elite pass rusher at the very least. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to your Lions making the big move during the bye week. All right, it is time to hear from our sponsor, Sleeper. Get a 100% deposit match of up to $100 using promo code RTS. And if you are ever on the fence about playing Sleeper, now would be the time to do so, because you can do so by using promo code RTS and not put in a deposit and still get a $20 play. So we're going to have each one of you pick a more or less from your game. Nick, we're going to start with you. Chicago versus Cincinnati. Maybe a Joe Flacco-less Cincinnati Bengals. Anything on here that catches your eye, touchdown-wise, from Swift or Roma Dunze, more or less?
I like the touchdown by Swift. 2 games in a row with him right at the moment. Lock it in.
All right, I like it. Minnesota, Detroit, one bar. We're going to start with you. We got Addison, Justin Jefferson We got JJ McCarthy. Now remember, I can tease it down. So like JJ McCarthy, you may not feel good about 211 yards, but 150 passing yards. I mean, come on, man. We got to feel good about that.
Go to the kicker. Go to the kicker. That's the only thing I'm betting on for the Vikings
Okay.
at this point.
All right. More or less on 1.5 field goals.
We're taking the over on Big Will Reichard, baby. Dos, be afraid, man. We're going to kick the shit out of you. It's because of Will Reichard.
I love it. All right, Dos. What are you thinking here, man?
Well, based on that, is there any defensive props or no? Because I mean, based on how that's done, we got to do something defensively here.
We got a Jake Bates. We can go kicker versus kicker if you want.
I don't know if I would play that game with Campbell. You know what? We can roll Bates. I'm going to roll the under. I think it's I don't think I'd ever
all right.
Bates. Yeah.
It's going to be a shutout. Nice.
Love it. Let's go.
All right, Clayton, man. You know what? You were talking about Tucker Kraft. I think this is time for you to put your money where your mouth is. Are we going more on that 58.5?
It's tempting, definitely, man. Again, he's the guy that continues to show up. The thing that I'm noticing, though, is the Carolina Panthers' run defense is like 23rd in the league. So the problem is you got Josh Jacobs, who's battling a calf injury. I think that played a little bit into his play last week. So that makes you a little worried there. You got Jordan Love at 236. For me,
and I can tease it down too. So if there's a number that you're not comfortable with, let me know.
I think this could be a big running game for the Packers. And the reason I say that is because you expect them to come out and play with the lead against Carolina at home. And the fact that they've got such a bad run defense, I could see it being something Matt LaFleur gets a little bit run heavy in this game. I would probably go with Josh Jacobs there if I had to pick one.
All right, we're going more. We're going to put 10 on it. We're going to 9 times it for 92.50. You can tail us. You can fade us. But either way, use Sleeper. Promo code RTS. Link is in the description. We're going to get to the preview of this week's games here in just a minute. But first, we got a couple super chats. Chris O says the Packers suck. The Lions suck too. Let's go, JJ and the Vikings. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate the fact that you're sticking with your Vikings. Not a fan of the other teams in the division. Totally understand that one. Here we go. Let me remove that. Goodness sakes. Hold on a second. There we go. And then we've got Jody coming in with a 20 spot. Says, always love these roundtable shows. Love all you guys, even Bass. Go Lions. Jody, thank you so much for showing support. We really appreciate you. And she's a Lions fan. So there you go, man. All right, let's talk about our other sponsor here. We got RotoWire. Listen, if you're going to be using Sleeper or any of the other daily fantasy sports sites, you definitely want to be using RotoWire and their AI tool. They're going to help you win on whatever picks you're making. So if you go to picks and props, you go to daily fantasy sports pick'em, you can go right here to Sleeper. And what you're going to notice is we're going to have an AI tool that's going to predict for us week in and week out and give us a confidence meter. So for example, DK Metcalf, 54.5 receiving yards. They are very, very confident in the more. Devon A-Chain, they are very confident in the less on the rushing and receiving. And you can go up and down your ticket here. We probably should have done this, fellas. I mean, listen, we got Justin Jefferson. We probably should have taken here Bass. I mean, not Bass, but one bar, 71.5 receiving yards. They're pretty damn confident in that one. They've got it all the way through. So listen, whether you play Sleeper, Underdog, whoever it is that you play, make sure that you use RotoWire, promo code RTS for 15% off. Link also in the description. All right, fellas, let's get to it. Let's preview this week's games. We got a good slate of games. Starting first in division, 1 p.m. Eastern, Vikings, Lions, Vikings at the Lions. Nick, we're going to start with you first. Who do you have winning this game, Vikings or Lions, and what's your score prediction?
Since Baz isn't here, I have to Clayton, I always say this, but the Lions always play in Detroit, so this is just not fair. No, I think that one bar and the Vikings, man, like they are, kind of like I was saying about the Ravens. I'm not saying their playoff hopes are over by any means. It's still early enough in the season. That being said, the North's a tough division, and losing to the Lions, that's a crucial game. So I think that what's going to happen in this one is that the Vikings are going to come out swinging, depending on who's playing at quarterback for Minnesota. I think it's going to be a really close game. It's always a good matchup between these two. Last year, obviously, they were competing for the top. So it's the interdivision rivalry from last year, and especially all the tension and energy between the two. But in Detroit, they're red hot right now. I think it's going to come down to a field goal. And I got the Lions winning this one. I'm sorry, One Bar. I got the Lions winning this one, though. 27-24.
Shit, that's close. I'll take that, Nick.
Field goal, yeah. I mean, golly.
It's an interdivision game. Like I feel like they're always. I mean, minus when we played Detroit, like that was terrible. But I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a good game. Now that each team is kind of gelled together, they want to get things going. But I think Minnesota is gonna just come up short on this one.
All right, Clayton, you got to give me a prediction on this one. Vikings at the Lions, 1 p.m. Eastern. Who do you have taking this one, and what is the score?
Yeah, man. Listen, when it comes to these divisional games, you got to kind of throw the records out, right? But I mean, the reality is PFF and other sites have the Lions heavy here. I mean, you're talking about third in overall rank, fourth in defense, sixth in offense. They played, I don't see how the Vikings come out with a dub here. Even if J.J. McCarthy plays and he plays like, we've seen one or two games, I feel like, with J.J. McCarthy that flashed. Even if you get that out of J.J. McCarthy with McNeil and obviously the Lions getting a little bit healthier, I think this is going to be more along the lines of 27-17 Detroit there at home.
All right, Dose, you got 2 picks for your Detroit Lions. Are you going to keep this thing rolling?
Come on, One Bar. I mean, not One Bar. Come on, I mean, look, Jesse. Look, man. Real quick, here's the thing that One Bar. I just want to remind everybody, just in case they forgot. The reason that we match up so well with Minnesota, and One Bar knows what this is. We have the Justin Jefferson stopper. We've had it since last season. And look, man, he's been warming up. He's been forced to play out there. Amik Robertson's been cooking. So like this is really what it's been for. You thought these dudes were hurt or something. No, it's just been to get Amik reps for this game specifically. So I'm excited. We don't need safety help. We can just put him on an island, let him lock him up. If you're wondering about the 71 yards, he's hitting the under. All right, that's why we didn't do that. You know what I mean? We know what time it is. Plus, on top of that, though, honestly, the Vikings offensive line, I know I was kind of like, all right, I want to, have that come together a little bit this week. It's concerning right now. I think if I'm a Vikings fan, and Donovan Jackson, at least to me, didn't look great last week. I feel like it hasn't looked great when I've seen him out there. And I just think for what Clayton touched on, getting Aleem McNeil back with the game under him, I think the entire interior defensive line did their best last week or 2 weeks ago when we played Tampa Bay getting pressure. I think it's going to be a problem for Minnesota in this game. And I don't know. I mean, Carson Wentz has been able to avoid things, but I don't know that we get that as much with McCarthy here. He'll be healthier, but I think there's going to be some true sacks. Also, Hutch getting his extension. It just makes sense that he's going to get a sack in this game. So I think we're going to get a few negatives that puts him in a tough spot. But ultimately for our side, like I do wonder what that balance is going to be for us. Like how many negatives we have running game. Like I'm sure we're going to lean into that. We're going to try to simplify. We always try to against Minnesota because they bring bodies from everywhere. And as we saw from Herbert, as good as they looked, there was some ugliness in there. Minnesota games, I mean, from jump, they should have had an interception. He threw it right to a defender. They will create that up front. So no lines are going to try to simplify that as much as possible. And typically that's where we look for Gibbs. So to me, it's just, can we get a few explosives to offset some of the negatives we're probably going to have in this game? And Gibbs was kind of the guy last time we played in Minnesota. It was 10-0. He popped one and it kind of changed everything. So I think it just takes a few of those in this game. And then hopefully we get to a point where we're just up with enough of a lead here where it's messy for that offensive line. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm going to say it's a little bit more, I don't know. I'm going to go 28-20 Lions win this one. I don't know where that falls, but that's where I'm at.
All right, One Bar, everybody's picking Detroit. I got a feeling you might even pick Detroit. And if that's the case, that's fine. But give me a path to how the Vikings can win this game, because it's not impossible. I mean, this is the NFL, as Clayton talked about earlier.
No, I mean, it's absolutely not impossible. And I know I'm talking fairly negative about the Vikings, but I feel like if I'm going to do the show justice, I have to be realistic. But the thing with the Vikings is, their roster is talented. They do have talent along this roster. They have Christian Darris was full today. Last week he played barely anything. Andrew Van Ginkel, like he was a full. I mean, having him back on this defense is going to be absolutely ginormous. He is such a huge. I mean, he's one of the best defenders on this team. He probably is the best defender on this team with Jonathan Grenard. So getting him back is big. But Jesse, when you ask like how do they win this game, they have to do pretty much the opposite of what they've been doing the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's like they have to come out with a game plan where they stick to it. They run the ball. It seems like they come out and the shit just hits the fan and everything's a disaster. They have to come out. They have to run the ball. Doe says, Brian Flores are throwing the kitchen sink basically at these guys. Well, they have been, but it's not working. They're not hitting home. They're not stopping the run. So to win this game, it's going to be up to Kevin O'Connell. And I said it earlier, they're going to have to set JJ McCarthy up to succeed. JJ McCarthy is going to be the starting quarterback here. They have to play like they did against the Browns. They have to have some quick passes. They have to run the ball and just hopefully the defense shows up. The biggest concern, obviously, is stopping this Detroit Lions run game. I mean, we haven't been able to stop anybody on the ground, and we're getting one of the best in the league, and that is going to be brutal. It is going to be brutal. The Vikings have to get an early pick. They have to make some play early, a pick six, something where they get up and they can't allow Detroit to be up and just run all over us, because that is going to be one of the biggest concerns. And like I said, they have to do pretty much the opposite. And JJ McCarthy, who knows? Everybody can guess what he's going to do. Everybody can say he's going to do this, or say he's going to do that. We have seen basically one game. The second game he played this year, he had that high ankle sprain for most of the game. So I'm not even chalking that up as a game. So it's still a complete mystery, man. It is an absolute mystery. I expect him to take some sacks. I expect him to throw some balls where he should throw it out of bounds, and he's not. I expect to see very, very up and down play. It's just a matter if the defense can do it and if they can get anything going on the ground. Run the ball to Jordan Mason. It's been so frustrating, these play calls. So I'm going into this game thinking the Lions, I mean, this is just a bad matchup altogether, especially in Detroit. I'm expecting the worst, but Nick, I mean, you said it, like it's I don't expect it to be 3 points. Dion, you got it 8 points. Clayton, I mean, you had it close. So it's probably going to be somewhere. The Vikings will lose this game. They should lose this game. I would say anywhere like 27-17, 27-20, somewhere in that. They'll do enough just to tease us, to get us a little bit excited. But I think the score won't reflect the outcome of the game. I think the Lions are going to probably walk away with this pretty easily.
One thing that I'm hearing as this show's going along is you're a little frustrated, it sounds like, with the coaching. And coming into this year, the combination of Flores and KOC was supposed to be like upper echelon, the top of the top. You don't seem to think that way right now. I mean, the coaching, what is it in particular about the coaching that's kind of got you bugging out over here?
Just on offense is the decision making. I mean, last week you don't take Carson Wentz out. I mean, stuff like that where you don't take Carson Wentz out. You run the ball 9 times. 9 times. 3rd and 1 calls are just ridiculous. Second and 15 last week, they run the ball up the gut, get stuffed for a yard, and then they throw it 2 yards. It's like Kevin O'Connell. I'm not out on Kevin O'Connell at all. It's just the frustration because expectations were so damn high for this guy. We saw what he did with Sam Darnold. We saw what he did with Josh Dobbs. Like if he's going to be labeled a quarterback whisperer, you got to do something with JJ McCarthy. So we will find out if he really is a quarterback whisperer by the end of this year. But it's mostly the play calling. It's the body language. It's really everything right now. We haven't seen Kevin O'Connell against the wall yet as a Vikings coach, and now he is, and I'm not loving it. Not loving it.
Interesting. All right. Well, the Bears play the Bengals. Flacco may not play in this one. We'll see how it goes. Clayton, we're going to go to you first. Bears at Bengals, 1 p.m. Eastern. Who do you have taking this one, and what is the score prediction?
This is pretty straightforward for me. I think Chicago is the better team. I do. It hurts me to say that, but again, that's let's not sit here and pretend like Cincinnati's a great team, right? But the big thing that sticks out to me is you're talking about 2 of the worst defenses in the league. In scoring defense, Chicago's 29th, Cincinnati's dead last. So I think it will be kind of a high-scoring game. With that being said, I could see it being something like Chicago 28, Cincinnati 24 if Flacco plays. If Flacco doesn't play, then the Bears may get one that they run away with here, maybe something to the tune of 28-14, 28-10 like that. So again, I think you're going to see some bad defense, but I think that Chicago and Ben Johnson will do enough to get the dub out there in Cincy.
Nick, you're not used to the Packers representative picking your Bears, so I know that one's got to feel good. One bar, let's go to you on this one. Bears at Bengals, 1 p.m. Eastern. Who do you have taking this one?
Man, I mean, the Bengals just lost the Jets. That's tough. That's tough. And I mean, and the Bears just lost to the crappy ass Ravens. So it's like, no, they're crappy. They're not good. So, hey, Joe Flacco, what they say, 50-50 is playing. So you get Jake Browning. So that gives you an easy dub, but the Bears got to come out and run the hell out of the ball. They should be able to run all over the Bengals. And that's what I expect them to do. I mean, the Bears should win this game. I got the Bears 17-10.
Okay. Dose. Bears at Bengals, 1 p.m. Who do you have taking this one?
Yeah, this one concerns me, Nick. I'm going to be honest with you. This one concerns me because I feel like you got, like, the Bengals aren't done yet. Like, they're trying not to be done yet. I know Logan Wilson asked for a trade, but I feel like they're still fighting. They don't want to trade anybody. This team's still swinging. And then you got Chicago adding CD Deuce to the building. I like that. I like that addition for him, but it concerns me because I think if Flacco plays, I think this is a tough out. I think it's just teams don't match up, I think, well when you have that on the outside. It's just they don't match up well with it up front or in the back end. So I think for that reason, they're going to put up points as long as he plays. If he doesn't play, Chicago's winning this game. Like, I don't think it's going to be close. But if he does play, I'm going to take Cincinnati here. I don't know if we're calling this an upset. I'm going to take him 30-27. I think this one's going to be awesome. I honestly think this would be awesome if Flacco plays 30-27.
Oh, all right. 2 different score predictions based on Flacco. I like it. Nick, defend your Bears, man. What's the score and how did they get it done?
Dose, I hope no one uses your QR code. That was very rude. Leave this guy a bad review. He is terrible. Terrible take. Anyway, I think that what the guys are saying is valid. Joe Flacco is playing very well in Cincinnati. They have a very legitimate wide receiver room. That being said, their defense stinks. And I'm not saying the Bears are much better. We don't get pressure on the quarterback. We're missing the guys that made the Bears defense red hot for 4 weeks. If Tyreek Stevenson's back, you got a different game. Yeah, we brought in a couple players. Are they going to help out instant impact? No, because they're free agents for a reason. That being said, I think the number one thing is that the Bears have to pass the ball to Colston Loveland. We have not been using him enough. And with Cincinnati being the worst pass defense in the NFL, allowing 256 yards a game, this is an opportunity for Caleb to go out and shut a lot of people up, like we were talking about in the beginning, where like people are panicking and all on and so forth. So I think that Caleb's going to bounce back in this game. I think this is a good game for the Bears, even though they're on the road again. Last 4 or 5 games are on the road, which is crazy. NFL's silly for that. I want to see the Bears come out swinging. I want to see them be aggressive. Ben Johnson also can't get away from what's working. In the first and fourth quarter, he always has the guys run the plays that are working the best. And every week, he confirmed it that they're adding 25 different plays to the playbook. He's starting to spread them too thin mentally. Just do what's working, and you will win. That's what won us 4 games in a row. So the Bengals' bad defense, the Bears coming off a loss. They want to bounce back. They want to come out swinging. They want to get to 5-3, 2 games above 500 again. I obviously always have the Bears winning. The big factor is obviously if Flacco plays. If Flacco plays, I think Cincinnati is going to put up more points. If he doesn't play, then not so much. I got the Bears winning this one 27-21 with Flacco and 27-14 without Flacco. That's just, it's going to be closer. But the Bears need to be able to play in the second and third quarter. They literally have nothing this whole season in each of those quarters. They let the Saints get back to it in the second quarter. They let the Cowboys get back to it in the second quarter. They got to find a way to stop that. That falls on Dennis Allen. And also, please get pressure. If Flacco's under pressure, can't move like he used to, and he's already going to be playing injured, just get after the quarterback. So that's what the Bears need to do. I'm looking for a win this weekend, come back at 5-3 and get things moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are right there. You're fighting for that final playoff spot with my 49ers, oddly enough. It's you guys, it's the Panthers, and it's the 49ers. So you're right there. You guys play the 49ers later in the season, so that might end up being for that 7th seed. We'll see how it plays out. That being said, we also have the Packers versus the Panthers, who I just mentioned. One Bar, we'll go to you first on this one. All these games in the 1 p.m. time slot, by the way, so we're going to know exactly how the division did very, very early into Sunday. One Bar, Packers versus Panthers, 1 p.m. Who do you have taking this one, and what is the score?
Yeah, I'm going to need another shower after this. I've been picking the full NFC North pretty much for a couple weeks in a row here, except for my favorite squad. So, yeah, I can't pick against the Packers, against the Panthers. So I got the Packers 28-13. I mean, solid matchup for Green Bay at home. Yeah, Carolina can run the ball, but Green Bay can stuff the hell out of it as well. So I just not seeing how the Panthers can get a dub. Your Jordan Love coming off that huge game. Offense is rolling. Josh Jacobs is going to get his thing going. So Green Bay, I think, walks away with his 2 scores.
All right, Dose. We'll use your QR code, but you got to give us a prediction. Packers versus Panthers. Who wins this one?
Yeah, I appreciate that shout out. Look, man, this is bad. This is unfortunate. I'm with 1 bar on this one. I don't know how they're going to handle it. I don't know how the Panthers stay in this game, to be honest with you. Ted McMillan's been great, but outside of that, like seeing what happened with Buffalo, and you would think like, okay, maybe some of the trenches we're going to point to here. I mean, all the focus that you have to give Josh Jacobs, I don't know how they're going to slow down this run that they do. I think Jordan Love is just going to feast. It's only going to take a couple big plays. I think Andy Dalton's still playing quarterback, right? Like it's still Dalton time.
Yeah.
I can score 20 points. All right. They're not going to score 20 points, man. They might score 14. They're going to need something crazy to happen to make this thing interesting. 31-14. Give me the Packers.
Oh, I like it. All right, Nick, who do you have winning this game? Are you going to return the favor and pick the Packers?
You know, Clayton's a pretty handsome guy. I gotta be nice to that guy over there. I know his wife's watching. She probably says the same thing. Yeah, no, Packers are going to dominate the Panthers. That's just easy money right there. I'll get crazy. 42-10.
Oh, 42-10. All right,
Damn.
Clayton, break this one down for me, man. What's the score prediction and how do the Packers get it done?
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. Their run defense is so bad. I think Matt LaFleur is going to look to establish the run. They've struggled to run the ball this year. We're in the bottom third of the league in terms of yards per carry. But I think against this bad run defense of Carolina, I think Green Bay will come out and run the ball. They'll run it often and they'll run it effective. Another key statistic that you kind of look at with the Carolina Panthers that, you know, I just talked about any given Sunday, right? And when you look at it, you think, okay, do I see a scenario where the Panthers could keep it close? There's always that chance. But when you look at the turnover differential, I believe Carolina is 26th in turnover differential, and that's usually kind of that thing that may sway, an otherwise heavy favorite in the opposite direction. So I've got it 27-13, barely covering the spread, depending on, of course, where you get your action. But, I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to establish the run. And if they do decide to load the box, Lord help them, because Jordan Love's on one right now. So.
I love it. All right, all of you guys picking the Packers. Gonna be a fun week 9. We got a super chat here, and then I actually want to go around the horn. We're a little over a week away from the trade deadline, and so I want to see if there's any moves that you want your team to make, anything realistic out there, any rumors. I got to hear what's going on here. But first, Too Evil to Hope says, I'm glad that 1 bar was for Wentz being paralyzed. I
Do not want Carson Wentz paralyzed. Wanted the man off the field. I was scared for his health.
That's not what we heard, 1 bar. To open the show, you said, good, get him out of here, man. Bring him out on a stretcher. So, all right, listen, that's pretty brutal. 1 bar was not for that whatsoever. All right, let's go around the horn. We are close to the trade deadline. I don't know that, what trades are going to go down, what rumors are out there for each one of your teams. So quickly, give me the rumors that are out there, and then let me know a realistic trade that you think could happen before this deadline. Whether your team is buying or selling, doesn't really matter. Dose, we'll start with you on this one. What's going on with the rumor mill and the Detroit Lions?
So I've heard 2 rumors, both at different times. Haven't been able to pin the source back. Diana Rossini, this is her time, I guess. She just does every single trade rumor, but I can't find any of them. I'm just like, hey man, she said something. I'm like, all right, that's interesting. Can't find out where. So I guess at one point we were interested in an edge rusher when we needed a cornerback, which threw me off. Like, all right, I would think you'd go after a corner. And then later it was like, hey, Lions are calling about a corner. I'm like, okay, it doesn't feel like it makes sense now. So I don't know. It feels like both of those maybe are in play and they maybe made calls. And because of that, people are just speculating positions. I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I do think that there could be some interest there. The original reports being edge makes me think that they do something. It'll probably be that. At this point, Jesse, I don't think we're going to make any moves. I say if we do, it's something that's very small in terms of compensation given up, and it's not going to be a guy that's going to cost very much financially because of the Hutchinson deal that just came into play, and they know they're going to have to save this down the road. So I think an interesting option is Cam Jordan still from the Saints. I think that'd be fun. I think to pair him back up, Dan Campbell, was over there with the Saints, so I think it'd be fun to put him in this mix. Have some flexibility up front. You get a veteran at this point with that matches the size that you don't have right now with a guy like Pascal. We haven't really heard anything from him, so I think that'd be a fun addition and maybe one of these higher end corners. But I don't think they're going to touch that at this point.
I love that actually. Cam Jordan makes a lot of sense, and he's a guy that deserves a chance to try to win again. At this point, he's not what he once was, but you put him on this defensive line with McNeil and Hutchinson, you could see him getting loose for sure. The Detroit Lions, man, I can't shake the fact that Dan Campbell, after you guys lost the NFC Championship game to the 49ers, him saying you never know if you're going to be back again. You can't just bank on that. And then last year, as good as they were, they get cooked in the first round, or their first round rather, after the bye week. Do you think that they should go all in, because you don't know when you're going to have the opportunity? The NFC is wide open right now, and Detroit has as good of a chance as anybody. They add a big ticket player, even if it's as a 1-year rental, might be worth it, man. It might be the difference to get them to a Super Bowl. What would you like them to do? Regardless of what you think they're going to do, what would you prefer they did?
I'd prefer that they don't do anything significant, to be honest with you. I am the boring fan for that, but like I do kind of see down the road like how much they're gonna have to pay. So if it is, I don't know how much of a big ticket could be for a guy that you don't think is gonna be here long term, right? So I think that's where it throws it off, because I don't think you'd give up like more than a 5th round pick for a guy that's like, well, he's here for 1 year. So I don't know. Maybe that's like let's say, for example, they actually pulled off a DJ Turner trade from Cincinnati and they brought him in. Maybe that's to the point where it's like Carlton, where you bring him in, you're like, well, now you got to pay him, and then they just don't. You're like, all right, that was kind of weird, but we had him. Maybe that's interesting, but to me, I'm cool with them for the most part, kind of letting the dudes that they have play, and then I would be willing to take a swing like a Cam Jordan just to have it in the mix, but he's got to make sense. So I wouldn't do anything significant.
All right, sounds good. Nick, talk to me about your Bears. I mean, they're still in the mix. They get a win here. They're certainly right there. You guys have had some injuries, especially on defense. Maybe you could use another running back. I don't know. I'm hearing other rumors that you might be sellers and Moore might be on his way out. Talk to me. What are some of the rumors that you're hearing, and what do you think is going to happen?
The more rumors are just getting out of control. Like literally, no, he's not going anywhere. Like I just want to shut that one down. Like you see it and you're just like, no, that's not happening. He's on a 4-year extension for $88 million. He's not going anywhere. In regards to being sellers, Braxton Jones was the big one. I think Braxton Jones is purposely just screwing the Bears with this random knee injury that he got from after not playing for 2 weeks, and suddenly he's on IR. Obviously we were buyers with getting some free agents. In regards to the trade deadline, we need edge help for sure. Dio has been terrible for $16.5 million. He has 1 sack on the season and only 5 pressures, so that's not good. If the Bears were to go out and get anybody, I think it'd be an edge at this point. We do have Tyreek Stevenson hopefully coming back. Jalen Johnson's apparently coming back later in the season. Our defensive back room is, even though it's thin at the moment, it's going to get good fast again. From a offensive side of the thing, offensive line is great. We love that. It's been a weird thing to say as a Bears fan. Running back room, I mean, Swift's playing every week, even injured. Monungai has shown really good flashes, and then they do have Travis Homer back there. Rashawn Johnson is, always injured. I think this is last year with the Bears. I don't see us really being able to sell anybody because we need everyone at the moment. But edge is the big one that I'd be after. I'm looking at teams like I looked at the Jets. I know that we were linked to Johnson for a second. He said he's not going anywhere, though. But I could see the Jets. They just made a trade today of one of their better defensive backs. So the Jets actually could be selling. So edge is probably the big need. Cam Jordan. I know Cam Jordan obviously wants to go to someone that's more established this season, I think, going to Detroit. But a lot of people were looking at Cam Jordan, too, considering the fact that that's Dennis Allen's guy. But no big names have been like really, really linked. We were linked to a few other defensive backs, but now that we got a few in the house, we don't need to get anybody. The edge is going to be the big need for the Bears.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up the Jets, 2 Jets guys, Will McDonald and Jalen Johnson. You already brought some of those guys up, but maybe that's what you do. Also, you've got. You got the Miami Dolphins out there. They got a couple edges as well. Maybe steal one of those guys. So probably not a big splash trade, but somebody that could certainly help you at the trade deadline. All right, One Bar. Maybe you're the one team in the division that is actually looking to sell. You got some bloated contracts, especially at defensive tackle. What do you think the Vikings are going to do, and what are some of the rumors that are out there with them?
Well, they'll probably shock the world, beat the Lions this week, and then they'll probably just go. They'll be buyers. So now, I mean, if they win on Sunday, which is a big stretch, I know, I think they hold tight. Honestly, I think they do, even though we know what's going on. But really, a lot of rumors with the Vikings right now. They clearly, if they lose, I could totally see them sellers. Kwesi loves trades. The dude has had the most trades over the last couple of years than anybody, and he ain't scared. He is not scared one damn bit. And I think anybody is on the table aside from the core players that I don't even need to mention. Anybody that isn't going to alter the future for JJ McCarthy, at least next year, what's going to go on there, offensive line, offensive weapons, etc. Defensively, like you said, the free agents they brought in. I mean, we got a Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. Is anybody really going to trade for those guys? I doubt it. But those are the types of guys that will be out there dangled for very late round picks. Guys like TJ Hawkinson's name has been brought up. Jalen Naylor has been brought up as a team that might need a third receiver because he ain't getting any looks here. So, moral of the story, phone's open. I think they're willing to really deal anybody and anybody that isn't, like I said, a part of the future. So I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I'd be more surprised if they didn't make a trade.
All right. Well, listen, Clayton also wants you to use Dion's QR code. So you guys made the splash trade before the season started, which is definitely not typical Packers.
Right.
I can't imagine that they make another trade here at the deadline, but maybe there are some rumors out there. Clayton, fill us in. What's going on with the Packers?
No, I'm with you. I think it's highly unlikely that they do make a trade. Now, if it were me personally, the one piece I feel like we could use is a big guy in the middle, a big defensive tackle, more of a one tech or a nose. That's kind of what the only thing the defense is really missing, if anything. However, defense is playing just fine. Now, in terms of rumors, there's been really two different sets as far as sellers. There was rumors around Romeo Doubs earlier in the year, also Dontavion Wicks. Dontavion Wicks been battling an injury, so I imagine his trade stock is at the lowest point it's ever been right now. I think you'd be stupid to get rid of Romeo Doubs, even if you do just let him play his contract out this year. Let him go through the year. He's one of your most dependable wide receivers, and that 3-year window is open right now. However, on defense, one of the sets of rumors that came out in the pike from Easton Butler was the Packers called about 3 different cornerbacks: Alontae Taylor from the Saints, DJ Turner from the Bengals, and Cam Taylor-Britt from the Bengals. Now, DJ Turner definitely is the one that I would be most interested in. He was the former second round, 61st selection in the 2023 draft. You're talking about a guy that's still 24 years old, about to turn 25, playing really good football right now. I don't think it would make sense for Cincinnati to get rid of a really good young player like that. But then again, it's Cincinnati, and there's a reason they suck every year. So you can't rule it out, right? So DJ Turner is probably the one that would be at the top of my list in terms of rumors. I'm with you though, man. I don't think they pull the trigger on anything.
All right. Well, there you have it. Next week, I think we'll have 1 day left before the trade deadline by the time we get together next week. So we might be discussing this again. Either way, we had a 350 strong watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the NFC North Roundtable. Get this channel boosted up to what they deserve. You got a fantastic cast of creators, even the ones that fill in for guys like Bass. Clayton, you crushed it, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Fantastic job by you. So for Dose, Nick, One Bar, Clayton, I'm your host, Jesse. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And until then, much love. Peace.